There are not enough scrolls of wisdom right here. Nope.
Shenanigans back again, and welcome to MMOMG. This episode covers my final weeks in Path of Exile. I'd like to start by going over my progress made since the last video before getting to my general thoughts on the game after a month of play. I completed both Act 4 and the Lord's Labyrinth on normal difficulty. Oh, had I not mentioned difficulty yet? So when you finish Act 4, you're presented with a portal that takes you back to the beginning, only on a harder difficulty setting. Cruel, and after that, merciless. Completing quests on higher difficulties unlocks more skill and support gem options, which are pretty important for a number of builds. Note that you can access the previous difficulties from the world screen, allowing you to finish up exploration or quests you might have missed. I died on my first attempt on the final boss of Act 4, and was surprised to see the entire fight didn't reset, as it's a two-stage encounter. I found that odd, as it seemed players could just keep whittling the boss down until it finally died, which feels kinda cheap. I then learned that on higher difficulties this is offset by the fact that characters lose XP upon death. Completing the Lord's Labyrinth for the first time on each difficulty rewards you with 2 Ascendancy points. These points are used on a special menu in the passive tree once you have chosen an Ascendancy class. I of course chose Necromancer due to its buffs to both minions as well as auras. I also ended up getting several NPC reputations to level 3, allowing me to set up a hideout. Hideouts give you a small plot which you can decorate and place special crafting stations. You can invite NPCs to take up residence in your hideout, giving you access to daily quests, which increase their reputation even more. The special crafting stations are given to you by the NPCs invited to your hideout, and these allow you to enchant your gear with a variety of helpful bonuses. One of the important moments for my character during the last week or so was obtaining a cast while channeling support gem. With it, I was able to get a couple of other spells to proc as I cast Wither on enemies, thus freeing up the number of skills I had to activate manually. Within the month, I got my character to level 56, earning the Necromancer Ascendant class, and finished up most of Act 3 on Cruel difficulty. I racked up under 60 hours in-game during the month, which is far less than I would have liked. I'll go over the reasons for that later on in the summary portion of the video, which, coincidentally, begins now. So, as an action RPG, and note my emphasis here, that's going to be important, ARPG, Path of Exile is a strong title. It stands out from others in the genre by providing a progression system that isn't entirely restricted by character class. It offers several game modes, including hardcore variants, and even leagues that run for a limited time. While the universal passive tree offers a ton of options, choosing when and where to invest skill points is a challenge unto itself. Mistakes made early in the game are the hardest to correct short of re-rolling, as the number of points you can reset are fairly limited. A skill tree that large and diverse begs to be experimented with, but you'll be doing the majority of that in a mock-up builder on the web instead of testing it in-game, unless of course you have absolutely nothing else to do all day. In terms of possibilities, Path of Exile is a theory crafter's paradise with a higher learning curve than most ARPGs. It's important to note that some skill gems aren't readily available to every class, meaning you'll either have to level alts or trade with other players to obtain them. The actual act of trading with another player isn't difficult, but the game itself only has a chat channel to locate buyers and sellers. Experienced players often use third-party tools such as PoE.trade, since the game itself has so little trade support. Now remember how I said PoE is a strong ARPG? Well, requiring players to always be online and making trade a fairly important yet terribly supported game aspect is part of why Path of Exile gets labeled as an MMO. As I stated in the first episode, PoE lacks most of the social content seen in MMOs, and the developers don't really intend for it to be one, yet certain aspects of the game kind of contradict this. I believe that Path of Exile suffers from an identity crisis. In addition to the always online and trade aspects, the game contains guilds, complete with their own chat and stash, as well as hideouts, which are essentially player houses. Both are staples of the MMO genre. Why these features exist in a game that supposedly doesn't want to be considered an MMO is rather puzzling. As for upcoming content, Path of Exile receives regular updates. The game will soon be available on Xbox One, and they're implementing a solo self-found variant to challenge players by preventing trades and parties within it. Perhaps in an attempt to further distance itself from the MMO genre. I don't know. Of all the challenge PoE offers, however, I believe the game's toughest boss is staying connected. I know I'm repeating myself here, but I really cannot stress this enough. Do not play this game through Steam. I had days on stream where I spent half an hour or more trying to get out of town, only to be greeted with disconnect notices and eventually giving up in frustration and playing something else. Additionally, I had some really strange experiences just patching Path of Exile. For example, a modest 20 megabyte update the other week took nearly an hour to finish. Half the time was waiting for Steam to pre-allocate, and the other half was it slowly installing for a mere 20 megabytes. It had me questioning the integrity of my hard drive as well as my own sanity, until I downloaded and updated several gigabytes worth of other games with no issue whatsoever. Looking online, it seems I'm not the only one with this problem, regardless of whether you're using Steam or not. From what I read, the game's assets are stored in this one large file, so updating one small piece of it means unpacking and repacking the whole mess. These issues really hurt the overall quality of the title. If you can't connect or even update the game, its quality and price point are irrelevant. If these aren't issues for you, then you'll find Path of Exile to be a pretty solid ARPG. If you're looking for an MMO, however, there's truly nothing to see here. That about does it for Path of Exile and MMOMG for this month. Next month, we're getting back onto the MMO track with Echo of Soul, one of the few non-anime titles produced by Area Games. As February is a shorter month, I specifically chose a title that I've heard is fairly straightforward as a theme park MMORPG. You can join me on the NA server Genesis, or watch live Sunday through Wednesday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at my Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/shenanigans1930. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to see even more MMO-related content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys. I might have to tell my entourage to stay here. Alright, you guys. Stay. Reason why is this train outright kills stuff. Can I make it? Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Oh! I should have took a speed potion. Getting hit by a train. I guess the first time I've ever been hit by a train. Let's identify our stuff. Oh, that's a funny way to go. Died from a train. Choo-choo. Yeah, I should have took the speed potion. I usually can outrun it. Oh well. Good times. Hit by a train. I need to give up pretending to be a channel that actually plays Path of Exile because I can't seem to connect to it.